Hey, welcome back everybody. So it's getting real close to muscadine picking time. So I've already been eating a few. So I want to try to take advantage of some of these early ripening grapes out here. So before we do that, let's dive in and kind of look at the difference between the two types of muscadines that I have on these vines. So this first variety would be your more standard muscadine. You can see, obviously these are starting to turn a little bit more purple. They start out as this green and then of course ripen up and turn into that dark purpley black color. So here's a pretty good one. It's not ready to pick yet because if you look at one like this, it'll clear up. It's a little bit darker. Here's another good example of a very ripe one over here in the middle. So you can really see that some of these are ready to go, just like all these. So I got a little bucket out here and I'm going to do that. But if we go down the vines themselves a little bit more, it's really hard to see them on this half of the vines. The biggest reason why is the tree smashed this part over here, so they became a little bit more scraggly than this other half. And I'm assuming here that this area got way more sun, so they turned, and this half over here gets protected by the sun by their own leaves just a little bit better. But we can dive in here too. You can see there's still plenty in here, but these are not near the same color of ripeness or lack thereof than the other side. So there's plenty of grapes down in here. You'll hear me say grapes or muscadines. I'll probably interchange just a little bit. There's still plenty all around, which is a really cool sign since we cut these back basically to nothing about 1.5 years ago. But the interesting part about down here is this is a different variety of muscadine. So if I dive down into this part right here, they look pretty similar, but in reality, these are very, very different. They're scuppernongs. That's what this variety is. So as you can see, none of these bundles are starting to turn that dark purple to black color. They're staying more whitish, a little bit more of a pale green. But these are harder to tell if they are ripe or not. So the way I've been doing it, I don't really think there's any method to the madness other than just picking and trying, and is I'm doing a little squeeze test. So if it's somewhat squishy to where it's not too firm but also not too soft, looks like this one might be rotten. Let me see if it's a comparison. No, it's just dirty. But you can really tell that these are starting to turn just a little bit, just by the squishiness factor of it. All right, so here's that scuppernong. Yeah, it was pretty good. Highly recommend. If you've never had muscadines, find you some. Completely different type of taste than a regular grape. Very good, very sweet. Would you get one of these over here? These two look pretty ripe. Let's see. Yep, pretty good. And you'll know if they're too early. They'll be a little bit more bitter. Definitely not as soft. These just kind of melt whenever you start chewing them. Got to get rid of the seeds though, but other than that, this is some of the best tasting fruit that you can grow in your backyard. So as I pick these, hopefully I don't eat them all, since they're not all ripe, but probably gonna eat a handful. I will say picking them can be a challenge because you're dealing with vines and they love to grow in and around each other, that's pretty obvious. One thing I've noticed about this set of vines is most of the grapes are facing more towards the afternoon sun. So it's about midday right now, so it's straight above, but generally the sun sets more over here, and more of the grapes are growing on this side for some reason. Oh, there's a whole bundle. Some of these are just falling off without barely even touching them. It's kind of rotten. Clearly, I'm going to have to cut this back again. So like I mentioned earlier, the Scuppernong variety is a little bit trickier to tell if they're right, but I think if you needed a visual, I can get through these leaves right here. That one on top, you can see it's slightly more bronze than the one right below it. And it's definitely more squishy. Test it out real quick. Oh yeah. That's so good. I would say these are right on the verge. Yeah, still a little firm. Some could probably be picked, but like it's hard to see in these shadows. But there you can see the slight color differentiation between a few of these. That's good. Quite a few of them up under here. This one right here is pretty interesting looking. It's like it was two of them trying to grow in one. These are huge. All right, there's literally the fruits of my labor. I got about half a little tub of these. Now, again, these are still pretty early. This is late August, and these things are typically supposed to start to ripen a little bit more towards the end of September, maybe early October, maybe mid-September. Just kind of depends really on the weather, how hot it's been. It's been very hot. And obviously this upper half of this vine system has had a lot more sun than that other half down there, which is one reason why that other half on the backside has yet to have as many ripe muscadines yet. But the ones I picked, they look pretty good. If they are, they are. If they're not, oh well, we can just always eat another one. But a lot of these are already tasting pretty good, and so I have a feeling I'm going to be able to pick quite a bit of these and start to share with some folks, or have people over to have a picking party. But yep, this is the first harvest of the muscadines, so stay tuned because I'm sure we're going to have plenty more to come with them.